Now guys, what's really prompted me to do this video is, we're at that point, at point of recording, it's the 21st of August. The MLS is about halfway through, European seasons are underway, everything's ticking off, we're getting European qualifications done, and international break is on the horizon as well for World Cup qualifying for next year. And just a few of these things have just been kind of brought back to my attention again, and I thought, what a great topic for a video, because there'll be a lot of you guys out there playing SoRare now that may be in MLS and you're not considering some of these factors, or equally you haven't dived into it yet and these factors weren't apparent to you, and maybe they will be, and maybe it'll help you kind of further your journey, further your experience, enhance your SO5 output, and try and get you a wee bit higher up the leaderboards. Now, I'll give you a quick basic overview, okay? The MLS is split into two conferences, East and West, okay? Every club in the Western Conference will play each other home and away, and you'll play the people in the opposite conference once a season, and whether it's a home or away fixture, it used to be on a rotation, like you would play LA away this year and next year you play them at home. But with there being like an odd number of clubs, there's currently 27, there's another couple of expansion clubs, which means new clubs that will be promoted kind of, that should get up to the 30 mark, I think, over the next 5 years or so. There's Charlotte and one or two others that are, I think Sacramento are coming in. So anyway, so that's something that might throw you off at first, as well as the fixture pattern, because you won't play everyone home and away. You'll play your own conference home and away, and then the opposite conference you'll play them once. I think maybe the odd time, because there is 27 clubs, you might play somebody twice, but I don't think so. So at the moment, this is what I was looking at that really spurred me on. I thought I better actually just highlight this to the people. What is MLS good for? So this is the first one, okay? Now, the fixture list that they've got at this time of year is unrelenting, okay? So it does not hold up. It does not stop for anything other than the MLS All-Stars game against the League MX guys. But it runs, as you can see, all the way through August. Then at the beginning of September, we have an international break, or maybe mid-September, for World Cup qualifying. These teams will have players away in World Cup, squads in CONCACAF region. I don't think there'll be any in Asia, probably some in South America with Venezuela and a few of those countries kind of represented in the league. And a few go to Europe, guys are like in the Polish team or Slovenian teams, Slovakian teams, this kind of thing. So through the international break, the football does not stop. It keeps on going all the way through. And as you can see how dense this fixture list is, if you look at the dates as I'm scrolling through, it is like every 3 or 4 days there is matches on, all the way through. Show more games, yes please. All the way through to the standard league's conclusion. Look at this, guys. Look at the amount of fixtures we're getting. All the way through October, all the way through November to, there we go. So we get to the 7th of November is the last regular season match. So then being like a week or two where they take it off, and then it goes into a playoff structure. If we look at the league table, you'll see how many teams qualify for that. It's basically a straight knockout, one leg affair. Might be 2 legs actually. Last year it was 1 leg because of, I don't know if it was because of COVID. We'll see what happens with the legs, but you'll get 7 teams out the West and you'll get 7 teams out the East, okay? And then they play each other in like a tree tournament structure. So you'll have fixtures that run all the way into December, basically. And then their Champions League and CONCACAF kicks off in like January, February. So a lot of these, if you're picking the top teams that qualify, and the teams that will qualify for CONCACAF Champions League will be the team that wins Supporter Shield. What Supporter Shield is the amalgamation of East and West Conference. Whoever is the #1 team when all the regular season matches have been played, they win the Supporter Shield and they go in to Champions League. Whoever wins the overall thing, MLS Cup, they go in as well. The highest placed Canadian team, which is Montreal, Vancouver or Toronto, they get in. And then also you will have representation from a conference winner that was not the Supporter Shield winner. So you'll get at least 4 clubs in. I think there might be something for the American Open Cup potentially, which is like their FA Cup kind of thing. All teams are in that outside of MLS as well. It's an American thing. So the fixture, #1, what is MLS good for? It's good for a really compact, dense fixture pile-up, or fixture list, if you like. Now, they don't stop for international breaks, by and large, as you've seen, which can offer you some great opportunities into backup goalkeepers, youth goalkeepers, rotational players. It also offers you a great opportunity as well to get squad players cheap, because a lot of these teams, as you'll notice as you watch MLS and you study it, is they've all got their best 11s, but because of the demands on this league, and not just the density of the fixture pile up, but also the geography of the whole damn thing, you know, like altitude, different climates, all that kind of stuff, there will be periods of rotation. And, you know, like if you look at the top guys in these teams, like the Zella Ryans, the Laderos, the Rui Diazes, the Carlos Velas, the Rossies, they're all very expensive, but almost all of them will be rotated, will be suspended, will get injured, and they will have backup players that are designed to come in and ease the workload, you know. So you can get yourself into really good opportunities where even some of these guys that are rotation pieces, as they call it in MLS, become mainstays because they do so well when the goalkeeper is away on international duty, or when that midfielder is suspended or injured or whatever. So there's plenty of clubs to choose from, and because there is so many clubs, this is something I was kind of talking about in the Challenger region, but the more variety and the more choice there is, the better priced you can get something that's mid-range. You know, not everything you buy for SO5 needs to be top shelf items. You know, mid-range items will get you very far as long as you're quite tactical and quite astute with when and how you play them, you know. The next thing I would say MLS is good for is a nice little backdoor entry into Challenger or Champion Europe. You know, it's becoming quite well publicised over the last 12 months, but there's more and more Americans being transferred into Europe, into these development leagues like Belgium and Austria with Brendan Aronson and a few other ones. There's ones that I don't own in the club. You know, we've just seen Gianluca Busio and Tanner Tessman move into Venezia in the Serie A, which is a champion league, of course. We've seen guys like Reggie Cannon go into Boa Vista. You know, there's a lot of transfers happening, and even more transfers are happening with American nationals that are coming through the youth system and kicking on. The next step of this development from MLS is like an organisation or a company or whatever, is to start getting those youth prospects that they're signing from like South America and whatever sold into Europe. You know, the guys like Barco that make all the headlines now, and then this summer it was like guys like Brenner, Talos Magno, big signings that they're attracting to the league. And I really see it becoming like on par with the Portuguese and the Belgian and the Dutch leagues in terms of the quality of player that it feeds into Champion Euro. So this could be a nice little opportunity to get guys that are in MLS, young up and comers, you know, and they might get their transfer. If they don't, as long as you're understanding the worst case scenarios that they stay in MLS, you know, they do the thing that they're doing, that you see them doing as you buy them. But you've got that upside potential where they might move into Europe. Now, when they move into Europe, like you'll see with Aronson, he wasn't scored last year. That was a kick in the teeth. McKenzie wasn't in the team right away. That was a kick in the teeth. Sam Vines is a little bit different. He seems to have hit the ground running already, which is lovely. But that can give you a little bump in the road. But that little bump in the road is like your price of admission. You know, like if you're picking up a guy, as you've seen there, some of the prices I had there, and who's an American or Champion America D4 card for you, maybe a D3, maybe a under 23 D3 when America's on, whatever, who then transfers to Europe. You've obviously picked them up without that European premium on the price, you know. And sometimes what you've got to accept is the cost of something isn't always the money, but sometimes it's like, well, do you know what? I've picked up this Sam Vines for 0.385, which at the time was 600 quid. I've only managed to play him in SO5 once or twice. And then he went away to Gold Cup, wasn't scored. He then signs for Antwerp, and you know, he's getting into the team now. So I've had that for 3 months and barely used it. Now, if he was a Challenger Euro, SR, American Youth National, Antwerp to whatever his Antwerp card, I suspect his SR would probably go in for more ETH than what it currently would, you know, because that American flag does have a premium on it from the collector side of things. So the price of admission for me on that is the waiting game. You know, sometimes you need to accept that with a transfer. So what is MLS good for? It's good for great fixtures. It's good for great cards that can move into other regions and other territories. It might even be South America. You know, we've seen a lot of guys that were linked to Brazilian and Argentinian clubs over the last 6 months as well. So even if it's just getting into a better situation in that Champion America SoRare region, then that can be profitable also. And the last thing for me, guys, is probably fun and entertainment. You know, the MLS, no one's ever going to kid on that it's like elite level like football soccer at the moment. It's definitely ever improving. But this is the league table based on over 3.5 goals per match, which is, you know, 4 goals or more. And as you scroll through this, you know, a lot of these clubs are around the 1/3 to 50% mark. all of their matches have 4 goals or more in it. It's a very exciting league to watch. If you've got goal scorers and chance creators and whatever, it's a very exciting league to have players in. Even if we move a step back and go to the kind of mean is over 2.5 goals, it's well, some of the big teams there are getting over 50%. Their matches have 3 goals or more in them. It's a very entertaining, it's a very fun league to watch. Sometimes the worst thing about watching football, guys, is you get hyped for a match and it ends up 0-0. 1-0, 1-1, really low energy, drive. No one wants to concede or lose or anything. Because this league does have so much youth, high talents in it, as well as, a lot of good athletes and a lot of great facilities, stadiums, training pitches, whatever. A lot of the attacking players are kind of let loose to go and develop and really push the envelope for their teams. And when you're watching football, guys, hey, the more fun it is, the more you watch it, trust me. I've managed to follow quite a few teams this season. Traditionally, I've only really followed like NYC and Seattle for different reasons, but this year, man, I'm right behind the Galaxy. And is there anyone else I've been kind of watching? I've been watching a wee bit of Montreal, and the Revs are good to watch for SO5 reasons. I've watched a lot of Atlanta, but the Revs are a bit dry on the eye because their matches is all about good defences and good goalkeepers and whatever. But Atlanta, good fun to watch. NYC. If you're in the UK as well, you do kind of struggle on what games will be televised. It tends to be the ones that have UK presence, like Inter Miami, Phil Neville, Beckham, all that kind of stuff, as well as Galaxy historically. And when Henry was at Red Bulls, used to get a lot of those matches on, but now you don't really see the Red Bulls on TV as much. It's mainly NYC for the Man City connection or whatever. So, yeah. So the next, this is August. The main calendar runs for another 3 months. And as you can see, guys, the fixture list is, I said at the top of the video, unrelenting. So if you're looking to really supercharge some of your entries, or you're trying to get an easy way into midweek fixtures, MLS is a great place to be going as well. If it is for that goalkeeper, that striker that you need to complement the European cards you've got already. Maybe you're starting to buy European cards and you're like, oh crap, I can't actually afford one of these goalkeepers. Maybe you can pick up an MLS goalkeeper who will cover you between now and, let's say it's a guy who gets into playoffs till the end of the calendar year. Gives you plenty of time to, what's the word I'm thinking of here? To gather your resources. That's exactly it. And then by November, December time, maybe you can get the champion goalkeeper that you're looking for. Maybe you win one. Maybe you win a few cards that you sell and you turn around. So it's definitely a league and a region I would definitely highly recommend you get involved in some way, even if it is just to pad out your globals and your 23 lineups, or you actually make a stab at Champion America itself. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If nothing else, it's just me kind of talking about MLS and why I like it. But for SO5, it's definitely got a lot of credence, it's got a lot of utility. And I highly recommend if it's something you haven't considered before, you definitely pay it some consideration, because as I've outlined in the video, there's a lot of lovely little caveats and nice little fine details with it that are interesting to know. Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. About to pop on screen now some more stuff I've made, YouTube thinks you might like. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.